Hi, guys. Welcome
Yo,
to episode 9 of the Trainer Feed podcast. Today, we have a very special guest, Anthony Gilkes. But before we get into that, we're going to check up to see how everybody's doing. So, how are you guys doing? David, how you doing?
good man. At home, I'm fun. No, it's fucking boring at home. I'm tired of this fucking quarantine. But yeah, no, everything's good. Good.
Cool. Jocks, how you doing?
I'm good. Um,
How's Jersey?
Jesse's good. Trying to stay sane. Things are good. I think trying to change their workout routine a little bit, keep it interesting because it's getting a little monotonous. That we celebrate Alex's birthday yesterday, so that was quarantine style birthday, like it was a few weeks back. And then I completed an online course in like basic neuroscience and the electronics behind in the brain. So that was tough, but it was actually quite interesting. So that's what I'm doing to keep sane. So
Well, what's that for?
what is it for?
Just for your general knowledge, or is it for
No,
something?
so I don't know if I mentioned I've been doing an internship for the last like month and a bit, and this woman did her company Neuroathletics, and she works with athletes and even business professionals on improving their neuroperformance and neurological performance. And then she's just having me right now write articles on Alzheimer's. So I've done a couple of those, and it's. I mean, look, we have a lot more downtime than we usually do, so I feel like you're actually able to give the time of day to concentrate and really focus on it. So that's been I got time, and so that's been nice to do. What about you, Angel? How's your week been?
Everything was good. Happy belated to Alex, by the way.
Oh, pass it on. Thank you, man.
And I did a kind of like a course over this past weekend for CEUs, just to kind of keep the ball rolling on that end. But yeah,
With David with McGill.
yeah, Stuart McGill was on.
Yes, sorry.
There was a lot of people on. Dr. Russin,
How much was it?
Tony Gentlecore. It was free.
Oh shit! Did you
Yeah.
tell us about that?
He posted about it, I feel like.
Yeah,
Forgot. I
it
should
was
have
like
that.
yeah, it was some guy who's actually a strength and conditioning coach for the Seattle Mariners, I believe.
Oh,
And
nice.
he was the one who
Very
put it all together. So it was cool. Obviously, there's a portion where, like, if you want to pay, $80, like you can and have the videos for the rest of your life. But I just took notes. That was it.
Screen
cool.
record that.
I was gonna say you screen record the whole thing.
Screen record it.
But all right, so we'll get into our guest. So we're going to talk about Anthony Gilkes. We're going to have him on the show. If you guys don't know who he is a professional bodybuilder, born and raised out of
Find out.
he worked with us for a period of time at Equinox. So without further ado, let us welcome in AG.
Yeah, what up, goal?
Yeah, what up?
Go.
Fit for goal?
The GOAT, where is he?
I don't know.
Was that goat or goal?
Goal.
Go.
Fit for goal.
Here it is.
Yeah, what up? I can't hear you yet. There we go. It's connecting. Boom.
Oh, my bad. I didn't know I was on mute.
What up, man?
What's up, man?
What up, son?
Yo, I see you repping. Is that Kakashi? Who's that on your shirt?
Say Takashi?
No.
Always the Lord Sensei. The Lord
No.
Sensei.
I gotta show you. Yep. We started drawing, and actually that's crazy because my girl just drew a picture of Kakashi yesterday, because we've been like drawing and painting and all that stuff, and it looks fire. I gotta show you that a little bit later.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But how you been, man? How's everything going?
Everything's going well. Working through Skype and free time.
Okay. Are you still? I saw something you posted on about Brazil. Are you still getting ready for Brazil?
Well, it got pushed back to November 21st. But yeah, I'm still going to do it. It was supposed to have been August 1st.
Okay. That means you got to
Trying to
change
be
a lot of
international.
things. You got to change a lot of things up, right? Because you were if you're preparing for August 1st, you were like, I don't know, like 6 weeks out, 8 weeks out.
10 weeks.
10
10.
weeks. Yeah. All right. Cool. So let's
August, nigga. Nigga said 4 weeks out.
I don't know. I don't even know.
What
But
up,
yeah,
Jockey?
How you doing, man? You good?
Good.
Good.
cool. All right. So let's get into some of the questions that we got for AG. But to kind of like start and kind of preface everything, take us through like your journey and your history as an elite bodybuilder. So starting from when you first got interested all the way to the point that you are right now.
Well, start when I first got interested. I got hired for Equinox 176, you know where we at.
Mm-hmm.
And I ran into Brian Richards. And I was like, bro, this dude looks crazy. Like, young Brian, just like his physique and everything, his work ethic, like he was doing battle rolls at 10 o'clock at night, bro. So, you know, getting to know him, he was like, yo, you got the perfect shape for it. You should do it. You know, I did one show, and September is another show coming up because we did the Brooklyn Grand Prix as an amateur. I was like, nah, I ain't wearing no thongs and nothing like that. And then he showed me men's physique. Yeah, because I thought it was bodybuilder. And then he showed me men's physique, and I was like, all right, so we can wear some shorts. He's like, yeah. So I was still hesitant, and then he was like, so you can't do it? You telling me you can't? And that was the motivation I needed. And from there, we prepped for like 9 to 7 weeks, just keeping a loyal diet that we both came up with. And then I wound up winning the amateur, and Brian won the open in the overall. Now I won the overall amateur. Greg was with us. And then from there, I got excited about it, like the way my body changed and the effect and the publicity you get from it, especially off Instagram. Like, people see me go from a little skinny dude to actually really getting some quality muscle. So I went to my coach. He told me since working in New York Sports Club, when he first seen me about 7 years ago. Yeah. And I was like, nah, I ain't doing it. But then I reunited with him and let him coach me, and we did our first open. I placed second. So that qualified me for nationals. And then things got a little bit tougher, you know. It's like taking it to the next level was, you know, making no mistakes and getting to a mental toughness now. And then I got on that national level and then got smacked with some humble pie. Because, you know, I was coming off 2 wins. Like, second place, I qualified for nationals. First place, so it was like, oh, now you got to work a little bit harder. So that's when I placed 4th in my first nationals. And then we got and I wound up getting in 3rd. Yeah, it was definitely heartbreaking because everybody from New York and New Jersey was there. Hakeem Scott had won his pro card. My man from Jersey, Fireman, won his pro card. So it was like I was the only one who really didn't do it. So I started to say, let me take a year off, but I was like, you know what? I think a little simple tweaks here and there, my shorts change, and we could do Chicago. Then my 3rd nationals, I wound up winning the overall. So it was like, that was big because that went from 3rd place to winning the overall. That was like definitely a big jump, and I wanted to ride it out. So we went to our first pro show, was in Tampa. I placed top 5 out of 44 people. Yeah, I think it was 44 people.
Wow.
And and then from there, I did San Diego, which like none of the East Coast guys go West Coast, and none of the West Coast guys come over here. So it was surprising when I got into check-ins. They was like Anthony Gilkes from New York. I was like the only one there.
A year? Good.
Yeah, I was the only one there. So San Diego was a lot of fun, and to see the different physiques, and I ran into one of the, the top 15, top 10, arguably, athletes there, this guy named Xavier's. And when I seen the side-by-side picture with me and him, I was like, I'm not too far off. So I did the Arnold, placed 13th in the Arnold. It was the first Arnold. It was like 40 people. But it was a heartbreaker because that's the first time I didn't get first call-outs. The first 10 people that comes out.
Right.
So I said, now it's time to take it up some more. Concentrate, focus on, I think for me, it was just being in the right mental space. And, all you guys was counting me. So New York came up. I placed second in New York. I was like, all right, now I belong up here. Like, now it's starting to roll. Like, now they starting to see me. So I placed, did Puerto Rico, placed third. And then from Puerto Rico, won Miami, made it to Olympia, placed 7th in Olympia. And thank y'all for coming out there. That was amazing.
That shit was dope.
Yeah, Olympia was definitely dope. And then the Arnold again. It wasn't what I wanted to, but I placed 7th. Again, what did I place 7th? Yeah, 7th or 6th. 7th, yeah.
That's cool.
7th at the Arnold, yep.
So
we're here now.
So it sounds like you had a trajectory where like you first got hit with like when Brian told you like, oh, so what you're saying is you can't do it. And then you're just like, all right, I'm gonna do it. And then you started seeing yourself like on kind of like an upward trend, right? And everything looks good and everything sounds good when it's on an upward trend. And then you hit like, once you hit the pro stage, it was like that first slap in the face where you're just like, oh, it just doesn't just like you just don't keep going up. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna take another, you gotta go up another level. You gotta like stop doing like whatever it is or start doing something else in order to get to that next part. And then like afterwards it was like, all right, now it's just like a dogfight. Like you gotta continuously keep producing, because if not, then you just fall off. Does that kind of sound right? Yeah,
definitely sounds right. And also each level had a different amount of sacrifices. Like I had to sacrifice going out, I had to sacrifice my food, I had to sacrifice workout time because I had to be on a workout schedule. Like it was more structure. The more structured I put myself, the more I got better.
Yeah. That's great. That's insane that you were able to see that much. And it kind of like speaks to how Brian was able to like see you from the jump and say like, all right, this is something that you can do. You know what I mean? Like he just didn't come up to anybody who walked in the door and was like, you should compete in bodybuilding, right? He was just like, he saw you and he was just like, this guy probably already has some notches under his belt. But he was able to see you and just be like, all right, this is that dude.
Yeah, definitely he seen it and challenged me. And I wouldn't say I was in his shadow because encouraging me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if somebody's in your shadow, you'd be like, all right, you behind me, but stay behind me. You know what I mean? But he always encouraged me to do better. You know what I mean?
That's cool. So going into the next question that I had was, tell me a little bit more about like, kind of like some of the lessons that you learned. I know you spoke a little bit about like getting to the next notch was like, you got to stop going out more or going out like as often as you did, and like certain things that you learned along the way. So what are some lessons that you learned so far in bodybuilding that you could relate to like training like currently, for anybody out there who's like competing, or anybody out there who's like training to compete?
The one main thing I would say, you gotta have some kind of structure. Like you have structure in your training, you have structure in your life. Because for me, if things not in line, you get easily distracted.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
And if you get easily distracted, it just leads to you not going forward. You know what I mean? So I think structure was a learning curve. With training, even if I said chest on Monday, back on Tuesday, legs on Wednesday, that ain't happening. But it was still some structure.
Yeah. I was about to say that's a huge point that you brought up, because that not only applies to bodybuilding, but like sometimes our clients, right? Like if our clients don't have that structure or that regimen, or like the environment to even change, everything falls apart, right? It's like, why did you stay up to 3 a.m, watching whatever the hell it was? And it's just like, oh, because the kids, and then this happened, and then that happened. And it's like, you see how chaotic their life is sometimes, and you're just like, oh, you're never going to drop like 50 pounds or something like that in this year, unless you change something. So the structure, that foundation is really important.
Yeah, definitely. That was a big part. That was definitely a big part.
Okay, cool. And then kind of the last one, and then I'll let these guys take it from there. What are some, like, give me 3 common misconceptions that people have from bodybuilding, and like how you would like tackle that? Like off the top of your head, what are some misconceptions that people have?
One misconception I can say is that like not physically able to do other athletic things. Like people see me and think I'm a tank. I say, come outside and race me.
I've seen firsthand him race Brian and then also play ball. This man can move.
Right. So another misconception is that we're unhealthy. Bodybuilding is unhealthy. Like when it comes to bodybuilding, you got to make sure everything in your body functions correctly. So it's just that bodybuilders use supplements, and a supplement isn't just in the pill form. Supplement could be a fruit, it can be anything, but we build our bodies to produce in the best way possible. So some people will be like, oh, no, you're unhealthy because you're getting all the way down to 6% body fat, 5% body fat. But at the same time, I take multivitamins, digestive enzymes, fish oil, active charcoal.
You got looking back the whole table.
Omega 3s, like, got my fiber.
There you go.
Calcium. So that kind of building your body from the inside out, I think, is a misconception. And that most of us is crazy. Like we just unstable and crazy. I think
you say unstable?
It comes with the yeah. It is a lot of unstable features in building. I say that. But it depends. It's stress free. To my opinion.
Okay. Cool. All right. Bravo, you want to take it from here?
Yeah, definitely. Yo, AG, so you mentioned that, your bodybuilding career started at Equinox. What led you to Equinox? I mean, what was personal training and fitness something that you've had in your mind since, college or anything? Or is this something that you truly just wanted to do right off the bat? Or is there a different path that led you towards Equinox?
It was a different path because going into college, I was a chemistry major.
Cool.
And changed my chemistry major to computer information systems. So, I had a kid and dropped out my second year. But after that, I went to banking. And after banking. I worked at Starbucks. And then as I worked at the Starbucks, it was a Planet Fitness that just opened up around the corner.
Okay.
Now, I always was athletic. You know, I always wanted to run fast, so I raced my friends and I did pull-ups, push-ups, but it was a Planet Fitness. So I said, let me go work out there. And then I found out New York Sports Club was a better gym. So I started working out with New York Sports Club. And then one of my friends actually was like reading bodybuilder magazines. And he was like, yo, let's work out together. But he was already about 2 or 3 years in, and he was like twice my size. So I had to do whatever he did. And then I was the manager to another guy who left Starbucks and went to New York Sports Club and wound up being a manager. So after I left Starbucks, he was like, yo, bro, why don't you come be a trainer? Because I was already helping out my friends and having group workouts, Blink kicking us out because we all working out with each other. So,
oh, really?
Like,
You gonna do that?
You know what? I'm gonna come do it.
Yeah.
No, not in Blink. No, you can't work out in groups. So from there, I asked my coach, a New York's manager, to bodybuilding, but I was more interested in helping people. So I went with personal training from there. And then after he left, he went to New York Health and Racket. And I was like, you know, bring me along too. So I went to New York Health and Racket. New York Health and Racket was a great gym, great locations, but they didn't further like develop the trainer. You know, Equinox always, you know, developed us to get better in any way possible. So I think New York Health and Racket just didn't do that. You was like on your own. So after he left New York Health and Racket, I wound up just giving them my 2 weeks, like, yo, and I think I was on LinkedIn and did an application for Equinox, but it was to 96th Street.
Okay.
But somehow, what's her name? Francine pulled up my application.
Oh, wow.
And when she emailed me, I was like, yo, I'm right around the corner. You want me to come through now? She's like, no. Because I was working out at the New York Sports Club.
The 79th Street New York Sports Club.
Yeah, I was like, yo, I'm ready to go right now. And that's how I found my way to Equinox.
Nice, man. I wanted to ask, are there any plans for the future for you that don't involve bodybuilding? I mean, you have a background in all these, you know, chemistry, computation systems. Is there anything that you have in store for anyone, or like, or do you think this bodybuilding career is gonna be for the long run?
I think bodybuilding is just my platform and my passion. But my true career is in personal training. So I do want to, in the long run, open up a gym or be able to run a gym.
Nice. Where in the city?
In the city, yeah. In the city.
Nice, man. With your experience at Equinox, being a personal trainer, and with, you know, the stigma that surrounds bodybuilding, you mentioned some of the misconceptions about it, but is there anything you would tell one of your clients that comes up to you, or a lead that would say, hey, you know, I want to look like you. I want to, you know, look like you, get shredded, get lean. What would you tell your client that wants to do that?
I always tell them you can't look like me. I would say we're going to make the best version of yourself. Or
do one of your
let's get 10%. You know, I was on their platform.
Do any of your
if I was on their platform saying I want to be as.
Sorry, I keep cutting you off. What were you saying?
I said if I was on their platform saying I want to be just as financially stable as they are in 4 months, they'll look at me crazy. You know, it takes
a way of putting it.
It takes step by step.
Yeah. Do any of your leads get dissuaded? They're like, shit, I can't get this in 2 months?
Yeah, they have. They definitely have. And then some of them, you see me, I just pound them out and be like, listen, you want to look like me, right?
I think the best
bring them through
meme
Armageddon.
you posted that meme that was I want to look good for my birthday. And it's like, when's your birthday? 2 weeks? You're like
2 weeks, yes.
What do you think you're doing in 2 weeks? Oh,
Like,
I mean, a lot of people, I think that just leads to the conversation of, why do some people just have that need for, instant gratification, when in reality, stuff like what you're doing takes time. It takes a lot of fucking time.
Yeah. It takes a lot of time, it takes commitment, and it takes sacrifice.
Yeah. And in terms of that.
And then another thing is,
yeah.
When it comes to the sacrifice, it's not only saying I'm not going to eat this. Sacrifice is going to sleep at night, getting enough amount of rest. Like, that's another thing I had to learn too. Like, I used to, I still probably do, but go to sleep 12 o'clock and wake up 5.
Yeah.
It's not good for the body at all.
Yeah. Well, there was a point where I was doing that and it was fucking horrible. Like, your body just doesn't function the right way.
Nope.
Would you ever dissuade anybody from going the route of becoming a bodybuilder?
Say not to do it?
Yeah. Still there, AG?
Yes.
Okay. You froze for a sec.
Yeah. It's a life-changing commitment.
Yeah.
You just can't say I'm going to work out with bodybuilding. No.
Yeah. It's hard for somebody that has a 9-to-5 job making a good amount of money and saying, all right, you need to stop all that and be a bodybuilder, Unless they want to quit.
And they tell me some of them have meetings and saying, oh, I can't bring my food to the meeting. So how are you going to get 6 meals in a day?
Right.
You got to have some kind of sacrifice. And you step out for 10 minutes of your meetings, eat your food and come right back. Or put all your meals inside of a shake. So it's certain adjustments. It's just, are you willing to make that commitment?
Yeah. True. Nice. That's a good point.
Nice. Anthony, I know you mentioned like how early you wake up, and I'm also in the frame of asking like how hard you work. And again, we're probably thinking that if you were getting ready for competition, we were both there at the club, 5:30 a.m. I mean, I was eating breakfast, I was getting ready for my client, but you were like getting ready for fasted cardio. Like, you without doubt one of the hardest working individuals I've ever met, and it's just like, it's super impressive. And then to see you and the results that you've worked so hard for. But I probably asked you in the past, but for our listeners, like, when you're working that hard, because that's a lot of motivation and determination to keep getting up that early, and you live like 30 minutes to an hour away from the club anyway, so you're not getting up at 5, you're getting up at like 4:30. Like, what's driving you to be that determined, that motivated, and that consistent at working towards your goals?
I had to figure out, there's a couple of things, but I had to figure out how all the other pros was moving to a standard. And what I was just doing was just standard, you know what I mean? And so another thing that motivated me in the last 7 to 8 months is that all my coworkers and you guys supported me, and that's good, because it's like you've hit our alarm clock, but it's somebody out there that's looking for you to be like all right, let me check his story and see if Anthony got up today. You know what I mean?
Let
me see if he posted his cardio and something like that. So that always motivated me as well. And I hate to lose, so.
That's actually a really interesting. That kind of leads me into another kind of semi-question. So, would you post those stories when you're up at 4:30 just to like hold yourself accountable and make sure you know you're going to do it? Because if you don't, like we'll say this as well. Like if we get up at like 5 or 6 or 7 a.m., whatever it is, and I'm like, damn, AG like posted he was awake 3 hours ago, like on his way to doing cardio, and I'm like, damn, it's still black and he's been up for 4 hours. It's like, is that something that you would help yourself hold accountable to people show that like, no, I am doing it. I did get up at this time and do it. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, it's definitely a form of accountability, and just to show them like it can be done. You know what I mean?
But this is and I think the other point you're making without saying it is that if you want to look like me and get to where I'm going, this is what I'm doing to become that, to get to that. It's not me getting up at 9 a.m. after 10 hours of sleep and barely lifting my finger. It's like me doing this, getting up this early, me making this many meals, it's me eating this, me hustling to the east side, whatever it is. This is kind of like what a typical day looks like. I think that's a really good picture to paint because people don't. And also, I imagine some people and some of your clients will say, you can just not barely walk and look that good, right? I'm sure that comes up as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Right? Oh, genetics or,
Mm-hmm.
My bad.
And for me, it's like, okay, how many other people am I going against with good genetics? So how am I going to get the one up? So I got to make sure I get up at 4 a.m. and do my cardio and then going to steal a nap midday and then go to do a cardio again and then eating the right meals and then, get my right exercises in.
What would you say in terms of nutrition is your biggest challenge when you're getting ready for competition? Like what's the biggest challenge nutrition wise when you're getting ready for competition?
When I started competition, my metabolism is like totally like kicked down. So it's hard to get in the 6 or 7 meals. I think that's the first one that's hard. And then when it comes to nutrition, far as bodybuilding, I say eating the same thing over and over isn't a problem for me. It's the constant change in my diet. Because sometimes I can eat everything clean and everything and my body won't change, Certain foods have like hormonal aspects like, fats and fibers, stuff like that. Some things get you bloated, you know what I mean? So the challenge is not, another thing is the challenge is eating for aesthetics and not nutrition when it comes to a competition.
That's also a really interesting point because we mentioned on previous episodes where like you said, so you can eat same foods, look no different, or like how your body has a different response depending on what you eat. Like, has that ever happened when you've had your coach say, this is the plan we're going to go with? Or you mentioned you and Brian would come up with your own plan for your first competitions. Has there ever been a point where like something is usually like a bodybuilding nutrition go-to, but your body just rejects or doesn't like do well with?
Oh yeah, definitely. And when it came to broccoli, fats like peanuts, and my whey protein, because after I got my blood work, it showed me I had a slight allergic reaction to peanuts and lactose. So I had to switch to avocado as my source of fat.
And that's a game changer, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
If you don't know that information, you're irritating the body. You're depriving yourself of performing at your highest level, right?
Right. It can be the same macronutrients, but you can see me if I ate a handful of peanuts, pause, and a handful of almonds.
You want to try it?
and I ate them at different hours. You will see a totally different, like, part of my body look different. Like my face will swell up. I get a little bloated around the stomach area, and almonds wouldn't do that for me.
Wow.
Damn, that's pretty serious.
And grass-fed foods. That was a big game changer too.
That you needed grass-fed foods?
Yes, you definitely need more grass-fed and antibacterial like lean meat. That was a big difference as well. Because you know how people complain about their lower patch and that, you know, that was all bacterial gut. You know, no matter how lean you can get, that bacterial gut will sit right there.
Huh. That's good to know. Huh. Maybe that's why I have bacterial gut just hanging out in there. I'm dead serious, man. Doesn't matter how good, how clean I eat, that bacteria, that little thing just hangs out. What's going on, man? We ain't leaving.
He said, "All right, I'm gonna head out."
Bro, there we go.
Nice.
I know from probiotic.
Acidophilus. Yeah.
Let me take a picture of that.
Yes.
Hang on, how would I write that one more time? My man. Thank you. All right.
Sounds like a fucking Greek philosopher. What is it?
Then so as a bodybuilder, you figure out all these things. And when it comes to clients, you know, you might have that client that was eating dark chocolate all day long.
Damn.
You know, it had some kind of milk in it. You know, it was messing up their stomach.
Yeah.
Or you can have that client who thought cauliflower rice was good for them. At the same time, they was getting bloated all the time. You know.
Did you take an intolerance test, or was this
ask.
from just constant trial and error?
No, I took an intolerance test. Yeah.
Okay.
In the blood work, it shows in your blood work.
Okay.
That's probably something I should do, because I've got a feeling that I know, for example, oats are simple and effective and very simple to add, like the fruits and the carbs or whatever, or even perhaps some peanuts. But I've got a feeling my body just doesn't agree with it. Like the digestion side of things, it's not as smooth as. Huh?
You need grits.
He's gonna get you on that cream of rice.
There you go.
Yes, cream of rice. I got cream of rice, but try gluten-free oats and see if it's a difference.
If that's the difference, that might be a bit. Yeah, I can see that possibly being a game changer.
AG, one. I don't want to.
This guy's got everything.
That's it.
All right, gluten-free. Okay, I'm gonna check them out.
Yo, where you live, AG?
I'm in the Bronx right now.
Yo, run the moats, AG.
Y'all coming up here.
Doc ain't going up.
I was gonna in terms of David mentioned a question earlier, like you said, like your main focus of career-wise is personal training, but do you ever see yourself in the future coaching bodybuilders or future bodybuilders?
Coaching is definitely fun to see somebody else win, right? It's just like when we see somebody hit their target goal weight and they're very happy and they're giving us feedback. But the process of giving someone who don't understand what it takes and then they rebelling back and forth with you, it's kind of hard. But I don't mind coaching, but it's just not right now.
Okay, cool. And then you just mentioned born and bred in New York, right? And you mentioned about probably trying to open your own facility. Have you ever thought about where your career could possibly lead you besides New York? Like, I know you're like, and it's like secret to us, you like Miami, you love Miami. Like, would you ever consider?
What do you think?
Would you, like, you mentioned the thought of opening a facility in New York, but would you ever consider like opening it in a place like Miami, or maybe you mentioned you had to come to Vegas? Like, do those thoughts or those dreams ever come to you?
Oh yeah, definitely Miami, Atlanta, because those are places where people take fitness, I wouldn't say serious, but they look at it in a different aspect. You know, it's a social status.
That's true.
You know, far as we know, Amsterdam and Broadway is for places like Miami, LA, and Atlanta, to look good is a social status as well.
Mm.
I definitely felt that vibe in Miami. I felt like, you know, I haven't been often as you guys, but the notion I got was obviously the weather being warmer, and like you said, it's more like you're always showing more skin, right? So it's of a significant more importance that you look a certain way. In New York, like when it's shitty ass cold weather for almost 6 months of the year, you put a jacket on, you get exactly right. So but I've never really heard much of Atlanta being the conversation. Is that tell us a bit more about that. Like I've heard obviously LA and Miami, but like tell us more about Atlanta.
No, Atlanta is big with the fitness aspect because, you know, because they have the good weather as well.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So, and it's like a camaraderie of fitness. People with group workouts, you'll see some of the good group trainers and exercise group fitness trainers come from Atlanta. And they like to all work together. Also, Houston and Dallas.
I've seen, I was gonna say, because Austin, Houston, and Dallas, I've seen some more like that. That guy Primal Soldier and some other guys have an academy in Austin. And before all this shit went down, I actually had planned to go and do one of his courses and work out there and stuff. But I can see that. That's definitely something I want to see as well. But like that's cool to know. I didn't know. But I think the idea of you opening up your own place will be pretty cool. I feel like you've really seen, like, I want to say Bev Francis's place on Long Island. That was like a place you were pretty fond of, right?
Yeah.
Like when you look at that, what is it? Obviously the Equinox gyms have a certain layout, but when you go to those other gyms, what is it that you can't speak any more highly of that you really like those gyms?
It is the bodybuilder already have that label of the Mecca of bodybuilding. So when you walk through, you see like all the old bodybuilders and things like that. And the machines, the machines, and like everybody's just focused on a goal. It seems like the atmosphere that it brings. So I would definitely want to bring an atmosphere like that, but not only bodybuilding, you know what I mean? Because I started out as a person that I think more of an athlete, you know, box jumps and sports specific. So I would want something to be able to share that all together.
Gotcha. Because I think. Go on, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like, how sick would it be if you had, like, let's say you had all the space in the world or whatever, and you had like different culture and different like gyms just in like one building. Like if you think of a mall, but like different outlets would be like, one would be like a bodybuilding and you got like all the bodybuilding stuff. Then the next would be like CrossFit, you got your ropes, whatever. Then another one like sport, strength and conditioning. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like all like different. So that way, like you could still go from one place to the next. It's still under one roof, but it's like there's like a station, but it's like a huge station. It's almost like a gym size station or a floor. That would be sick.
Correct. And also as a bodybuilder, we need almost everything because it's going to be a time when we have to do HIIT training. It's going to be a time when we have to do flexibility. It's going to be a time when we have to do mobility. It's going to be half hard. And then cardio, static cardio. So a bodybuilder having all that one gym would be incredible. You know, we improvise. You might see somebody going real fast on a arc trainer or something. You know what I mean, for the HIIT training. But and I think CrossFit is big too, because you know some bodybuilders do CrossFit movement or powerlifting. You know, Ronnie Coleman started as a powerlifter.
But that's also why I asked about, because obviously born and bred in the city, New York, but when we had Brandon on a few weeks ago and he's in Boston, and we were talking about like the rents, open these places up, like it's insane. And like how I think Alicia, one of my clients, just renewed the lease, and he said I think it goes for like $20,000 a month. Rent.
Ooh.
But that's Upper West Side, right? So if you're a bit farther north, then you're going to see. Wow. Damn.
Even that's a lot. Fuck.
Even that.
At least for me, I don't know.
No, that's still a big chunk of this decent chunk of change.
Yeah. AJ, question. You mentioned we were talking about nutrition for a couple of minutes ago, and you said about going into gluten-free and grass-fed. Has the way you purchase food changed? You know, from the start of how, you know, from the start of bodybuilding to where you're at now.
I was just going to a basic supermarket to get, you know, the basic things and stuff like that. Say, let me just get some chicken, let me get some turkey, you know. And then after you went from that to grass-fed, you like it digests faster, is better, it cooks better, the texture is better. And after you then went from grass-fed, you look for organic. And then also, thing you might have to check is the label where it comes from. You know, how long it took to ship to you. You know what I mean? Because as a bodybuilder, we prep all our food, so we want it at the freshest. So if it took 2 or 3 days to come to you, went in the freezer, came out the freezer, went back in the freezer, and then you cooked it, and then you put it back in the refrigerator, you know, all the nutrients is almost gone, and it becomes toxic to your body. So also, bodybuilding is the most expensive sport that I ever.
I was just gonna ask. I mean, does it get more expensive as you get further on in your career?
Yes, it does, but you know, that's when the sponsors come through. You know, you get a meal prep sponsor and things like that, but you have to be able to grind and show them that you are an influencer via Instagram.
Wow.
That's crazy.
But food is definitely all I spend my money on.
That's where the stimulus goes.
Definitely. Give me that $1,200.
Oh.
But it saves you a lot of money also. You know what I mean? I'm not out drinking all the time. I'm not, you know, out at restaurants. Cook my own steak. I know where it comes from.
And if you were to give like one person, like somebody who is hopeful to try to get into bodybuilding, like 3 tips to like start their career, or maybe even advice that you didn't know before getting into it, just for example, like how expensive it is, what would you give that person?
Definitely lifting on a budget. That's what I call it. You know, find the right budget for you and manage your food and things like that. Find a physique that matches your body and you can see yourself getting to, because that was always motivating to me as well too. You know, I wanted to be like Brian. You know?
Right.
He probably never knew it, but I just said it in my head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And 3 is make it a habit. Don't make a task or something you feel like, oh, today I got to do this. No, it's your normal life. Once it becomes a habit, it's a lot easier.
That's interesting. I never really thought of it like that, but I guess that comes with any sort of like lifestyle change, is like putting it, like making it like part of your lifestyle, right? It's not just that the other thing that you're doing on the side. It's like, no, this is part of what I do, right?
Right. You know, when people say, hey, why you not eating at this restaurant? I'm a pro bodybuilder. You know, I'm not eating there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of, oh, I can't eat that. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's two different meanings and 2 different like connotations when you put it like that.
And when you say it to yourself, you feel a little bit prouder about it. Like, you know what? You can go eat at the restaurant. I'm going to bring my meal prep. I've done that with stars, like NBA basketball players. Like, they got the grilled steak and everything. And Noble, I have my little meal prep right there. And they take honor in that. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I think for a person like you, it's like, I think it stands out when you do it because like people also see you and they're just like, oh yeah, nah, he's not full of shit. Like he actually means what he says. You know what I mean? But if I show up with like a little Tupperware little thing, it's going to look a little crazy. They're going to be like, oh.
Well, you can just say, yo, I'm trying to build, or you can eat everything on the menu.
Yeah, word. So who's paying for this? That's how you start. Who's paying?
But it, right. Mm-hmm.
Cool. So we'll wrap it up. But before we wrap up, let's give you an opportunity to let people know where to find you, and anything that you got upcoming, like any upcoming events or any things that you're working on, projects you're working on. So feel free to plug that.
Plug in that promo code.
Swipe up.
Yeah.
Swipe up.
Dim loud. Swipe up. All right. You can find me at IFBBPro, _ Anthony Gilkes on Instagram. My pro shows that's coming up August 1st is Tampa. August 8th, Arizona. August 29th, Puerto Rico. And the New York Pro, September 5th. And November 21st, Brazil. So, and hopefully make the Olympia in December. Shout out to Condemn Labs, my sponsors and everything. And that's about it.
Pre-workout is real, yo.
Convict Pro discount and G10.
Say that one more time. What was the promo code?
And G10. ANT G10.
Cool.
Before we wrap up, I wanna bring up a story for our listeners as well. This is David already knows where I'm going with this. So at Equinox, they make us do the courses to become the level tiers, like you mentioned. Like that's what an Equinox does, makes you go to the next level tier of education, whatever. And for our listeners, me, David, and Anthony, I don't know if you were there, Angel, but we went to a class and it was with Dr. Salinas, and he was talking about like athletes and injuries. And
it wasn't Salinas. It was
talking about Derrick Rose, and I think Derrick Rose got one of his knee injuries, and this guy was like, Derrick Rose, what is he?
Who is Derrick Rose?
And I see AG be like so confused at the same time. He was like, I won't repeat what he said, but he was like,
this idiot. This guy.
Yeah.
Who is Derrick Rose? Who is he?
Like Derrick Rose. Everyone's looking at him like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Get this guy out of here.
Word, get him up out of here.
That was a fun class. I remember once he was like, to AG, yo, speak up. I'm like, he can't.
Yo, word.
I forgot what you were answering. He's like, I'm sorry, speak up. Like, he can't.
I can't, bro. This is what
That was a fun class, yo.
That was a funny time. Oh, man. I don't know if there's any more stories.
Thanks, you guys. This is so fun.
That shit was funny, man.
Thanks for coming out, dude.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Thank you for your time. Yeah, this was great. We really appreciate it. And I'm sure our listeners probably got a lot of gems from this one. So thanks a lot. We appreciate it.
Thanks, brother.
Excellent.
All right.
Thanks, man.
All right.
All right, John.
See y'all. Bye.
Be well.
All right, guys. Well, that was episode 9 with Anthony Gilkes. Thank you guys for listening. Next week, we have on another guest who also worked with us. Her name is Francine Delgado. So we're looking forward to that. So stay tuned. We're still working on the website, so the website will be up and running shortly. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, as Angel mentioned, Francine next week, who's someone we work with at Equinox. She was our first fitness manager. Super pumped to see like how her path has changed since we weren't working with her anymore. We are also looking at getting more guests on upcoming weeks. Something as well we want to kind of throw out there and see if you guys be interested is if we did like an Instagram live video of doing like a small Q&A just to kind of get some interactions that way, kind of see what you guys are hoping to get out of us doing the podcast. See if there's any kind of topics that we're not hitting right now that you guys like to hear more of. So definitely let us know. Reach out to us on the Instagram. DMs. Slide in those DMs. Get right there. All three of us will see it. You know, you're good. No secrets held here. And then also our email, right? So our email, until our website's up, the email is also pretty savvy for us to get hold of. But yeah, excited for Francine next week, and gonna get some more guests on the upcoming weeks. And again, still unsure as to when we'll be doing these in person, but I feel like this is going pretty well with the Zoom platform.
Yeah, I think so.
We got some TED Talks coming up in the future.
See, I got the little mic.
I was going to ask you about that. I didn't want to ask you mid podcast.
We're stepping up in the world. You know, we
stepping up.
Getting up there.
I tested it out. I think the audio, I mean, you guys will probably hear it. So if the audio sounds better, then I don't know. You can give it.
We should. How much did it set you back?
It was like $15-20. It was on Amazon.
That's it?
Yeah. So.
Struggle. This is the struggle, guys. The struggle of podcasts.
No, it's like, I mean, it's bittersweet, right? Because like on one end of the spectrum, it's like, yeah, you're getting into something new, you're trying some new stuff out. Then you're just like met with, how much is this going to cost me? What do I have to invest in? All that stuff. But then also it's like, now you got the time to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Like I just say, I'm going to spend like 30 minutes or 45 minutes thinking about like audio stuff and researching it. And then after that, I'm just like, I'll make a purchase and then that's it. Same thing with like tripods and cameras and all that stuff. It's like, you just got to set a time frame, say this is what I'm going to look at it as, and then
just put it on a company card. We're good.
There's your company card, David?
No.
It's Alfie.
I got Hispanic. I'm Hispanic. I got that Hispanic credit score.
Oh man, you can't just throw us under the bus like that.
Don't even associate me with saying that. I didn't say anything.
That's Ecuador.
Wow.
Anyway.
Oh Lord.
All right. Wrap it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. See you next week.